Deviating a bit from the comical villains in the Star Wars, however, was Deputy Syril Karn. Unlike the usual Empire officer interaction, what we got here was an Empire outsourcing company man that took an initiative. Reminds me of Krennic, but Karn is being a more fleshed out Karen. First of all, Ben Shapiro here doesn't have any friend, and somehow he exhibits a high degree of unearned loyalty towards the company. Well, not somehow, it's part of his right-wing personality of blind loyalty towards the Constitution. Or, in his case, doing things right by what he thought to be his ideal actions by the company, which includes adjusting the color piping in his own company uniform. That's how he seriously takes his job. He just wanted to do it right, which led him to lose his temper on the murder of 2 Primor employees. He thinks he's doing the right thing, but make no mistake, he's less concerned about the dead than to corporate loyalty and doing what he considered to be the right thing.
2 men are dead, sir. Employees? That's not worth staying up for, then I'm not worthy of the uniform.
In particular, in the absence of the superior that he disagreed with, Karn had this one chance to be a boss. Karn is the antithesis to Cassian Andor and the exact opposite. When Andor knows exactly his place in the galaxy, perhaps not yet in the rebellion, Karn thought his place was with the corporate, thus his undying blind loyalty to it. And as everyone knows, any loyalty to the corporation will be rewarded by being discarded once you have outgrown your usefulness.
But they were murdered.
No, they were killed in a fight.
The corporation, and by extension the Empire, is less of an idealist but more of a pragmatist. These are the kinds of institution that kills the soul, which makes Karn a tragic hero.
From a certain point of view.
Anyway, as a person, Syril Karn sucks. He's kind of a pathetic character. Look at his speech before deployment, for example. It was so pathetic he could only rehash inspiring aphorisms that nobody cared about.
Best of luck to us all.
You probably wouldn't want to work with this guy. Even then, being a tragic hero, he's such an interesting character. The kind that we've never seen before in Star Wars. At least not fleshed out to this extent. So when he went out and did the one thing his boss told him not to do, which would minimize the time the Empire thinks about Morlana, his action was less about caring about human life but more about his loyalty to the corporation.
It's ironic.
Syril Karn, returning to his mom's home at Coruscant and having space cereal for breakfast, was the kind of scene that we've never seen before in Star Wars. Here's a highly dedicated Imperial bootlicker, by extension via an outsourcing company, yes, but a bootlicker nonetheless, who did what his call of duty was supposed to do, despite insubordination to his superior's order for a cover-up. And Syril Karn did what he thought was supposed to be the right thing to do, only to have everything blow up in his face and turn out to be the bigger disaster that pretty much ended the company and cost him his job. The Empire is a lot more pragmatic than idealist, and this is what you get for being a corporate loyalist. You are always dispensable, and Ben Shapiro paid the price for his unearned loyalty to the company. But Syril Karn's disaster brought us to the greatest mom in the Star Wars universe.
From a certain point of view.
Edie Karn is the living embodiment of the textbook example of the dictionary definition for tough love. In fact, if you check the Galactic Basic Standard Dictionary of Star Wars for tough love, you will see a picture of Edie Karn. And she has high expectations of her son, and apparently it wasn't about achievements but how Syril carries himself. From the slouching that telegraphs weakness,
you might as well wear a sign that says, "I promise to disappoint you."
And there is, of course, some disconnect from between the son and the mother. But they implied an open invitation that Syril gave his mother to come and visit him anytime.
Any civilized being knows an open invitation is no invitation at all.
And by the looks of it, Syril expects her mother to take some initiative to visit him when he flourished. But that's not true, isn't it? Especially not in a military outsourcing company. Who wants their army buddy to find out that your mother has been visiting you, staying in the extra room? He will lose the last drop of respect of every single man under his command.
I know what you tell me. I intuit the rest.
But his mother is several steps in front of him. She knew about it and know that he is in big trouble.
I intuit you have no future prospects.
And just like being the pushy mother she is, she's going to be also quite so persuasive when she will be asking Uncle Harlow for a family favor.
You're assuming he'll remember you.
And apparently, Uncle Harlow will set Syril up for his redemption arc. Now, there are 3 Harlows in legend, one being Harlow Riggs, an intermediary between a pirate gang and his boss, another being Ken Harlow, a gambler highly in-depth, but perhaps the more suitable one would be Moff Harlow of the Contarlo sector in the Outer Rim.
Uncle Harlow will know what's best.
And being the good mother she is, she knew what's best for her son. And one of the beauty about Star Wars is that unlike Star Trek, it doesn't concern itself with how the science works. Instead of calibrating certain frequencies to resonate a beam that would point the ship where to go, Nemic's hipster navigation device just works and tells you where to go by simple command. Climb! And without getting distracted and bogged down by fictional science, we simply concern ourselves with how the story goes and what happened to it. Nemic telling Clem where to go was as hair-raising and was so satisfying to watch, right in the middle of a meteor shower.
It's not really a meteor shower. It's a recurrent band of crystallized noctilucent microdensities, billions of crystals. Very heavy, but small and unstable. As the planet passes through the belt, they swarm the atmosphere, heat up, and explode. From the ground, it's a thing of beauty. In the sky, it's chaos.
And the TIE fighters dying, they didn't make it. Exactly what we think we want from Star Wars, done with novelty that it feels fresh. And consistent, as implied by Luthen's conversation, "Look at me!" that Val wanted to be a leader, which means she's still learning. So it was natural for Val to be hesitant when they need to make the call to save Nemic or not. She's halfway there because when Nemic got crushed by the loot box, Val was quick on her wit to give him the Pulp Fiction treatment and save his life temporarily. She's got a promising start to become a great leader, and we will watch her career
with great interest.
So it was Andor who made the decision to save Nemic by taking him to see a doctor. Usually this is the kind of moment for Easter eggs to call someone from somewhere else in the canon or the legend. But Andor is not that kind of show. No, they're not doing this so you can do the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing me every 5 minutes. Except in Luthen's show. Anyway, we get to see a character. Dude was sure to look like the kind of species of Maz Kanata is, but he's got 4 arms and significantly bigger. Hey, if this is the type of guy that Maz Kanata's species is into, let's not kink shame them. Anyway, apparently this guy is called Dr. Quadpaw. That's right, Quad Paw, as in 4 paws. It's like when a human decides to name themselves Dr. Bipedal. Maybe we should name them something more esoteric. But hey, Star Wars are gonna Star Wars. And in Star Wars, usually this would be the moment for an Easter egg to call on someone from somewhere else in the canon of legend. No. It's a brand new character. We're seeing new things. So there are still room to grow in Star Wars, which means of course Nemic's not gonna make it. Cassian returned the Kyber crystal and noped out instead of joining the rebellion. But they planted the seed for future rebellion in him. Nemic insisted that his manifesto was to be given to Cassian. Apparently he saw something in Cassian that nobody else saw except Luthen. Will this be the one that radicalized him? There's a certain film language that you abide to emphasize something. Handing over the book was done as an insert shot. They didn't have to do this, which means that this has some importance. After all, Cassian has a character arc to grow through, so he will develop into a capable, highly motivated, and idealist liberal leader that we saw in Rogue One. Perhaps the one unexpected plot twist was that of the 3 survivors of the 7, Skein turned out to be a complete liar.
Your brother with the orchard?
I don't have a brother.
And Skein was the one who spilled the beans that they have the contingency plan with the doctor.
Between the 2 of us, we could be the winners here.
Because he needed them to be there so that he could steal the money.
40 million apiece. Don't tell me you haven't thought about it.
And the best part about it was that Andor was so quick on his foot that he immediately realized if Skein was able to do this to anyone else,
It's an rebellion for you.
Oh, I'm a rebel. It's just me against everybody else.
Should Andor agree with this proposal?
See, I can't fly the trawler, but I do have a safe place we can hole up.
If Skein can do this to other people, he will do the same thing to him too. So, true to his character, he just shoot him in the face. In the middle of a sentence. I certainly did not see that one coming, and neither did Skein. It's a nice callback to how Cassian is so light on the trigger. Another question that we saw left open was that, is J-Hold family still alive? We only saw Cinta walking away from the dam and towards the Donnies. Was J-Hold right that
you kill us anyway?
Even though Val said they weren't gonna do it. Remember that this entire group saw everybody's face and are living witnesses who will volunteer information to the Empire, who will relentlessly hunt them down without mercy. This was exactly the reason why Andor chose to blast the two people at the beginning of the first episode. Are you telling me that the tried and hardened Cinta wouldn't be able to do the same thing? What would you do if you were in this situation? As previously mentioned, Leonard Behaz is at a very high risk of becoming a highly dedicated Imperial officer who would probably dedicate his life to eradicating the rebellion. Do you have what it takes
to do what is necessary?
Would you kill baby Hitler?
Practicing a little salute. Maximum effort.
And of course, the effect of the rebellion echoes throughout the galaxy. Even Mon Mothma, who championed the issue that eventually will lead to the Gorman massacre, got distracted in the middle of her critical speech. And the Imperial Security Bureau wants emergency retaliation plan ready for presentation by midnight. Don't forget to subscribe for more pop culture positivity, and thank you for watching.